Hi, and welcome to Missed It by How Much. This is the channel that tests sports hypotheses by using computer game engines. We're currently replaying the 2013 season in control of the Los Angeles Dodgers. On the field and with the roster, we're playing Action PC Baseball as if it's OOTP. And today is a day we're going to just exhale and look back at the first half of the season. It's halfway gone. And we're going to see how we've done, who's doing great, who's not doing great, who needs to play more, who needs to play less, that sort of thing. Using the data, what story will the numbers tell about the first half of the season for this Dodger team? And we can look at some big numbers right here. First, the most important one, the record's 59-22, which is outstanding, the best in the league. Our batting average for the team is 265. And the ERA is 258. They've both been right around that same area the whole season. 258 leads the league, and 265 is second to the Cardinals. Looking at totals here for the team, 81 games we've played. Let's look at the runs. 396 runs we've scored, and the total number of runs given up is 240. So, by my math, that's 186 more. So we're up 186 runs, which is excellent. That doubles to 372 total on a season, plus 372, which is outstanding. We have given up 30 runs by error, so that's not outstanding. That'll flip over to 60 for a full year. We've hit 85 home runs. We've given up 65. Just looking at them in total, we have 51 steals and 14 caught stealings. So that's a total of 65. Let's take a look at that. 51 divided by 65. I can't do that in my head, so. That's 78%. Love for that to be over 80, but that's where it's at. On base is 327. That seems a little low. Slug 411. Total OPS is 739. If there is a weakness on this team besides shortstop defense, it's hitting. Although we have scored 396 runs, and we do lead the National League in scoring per game at 4.9. We have 5 complete games. Our ERA is 258, which I feel like is excellent. We're in the midst of a 3-game winning streak, but as you look at here, these are our last 13 games. We're 12-1, just one loss. So finished up on a good note there. You take a look at these numbers. I told you the Dodgers are hitting second in the National League, 4.9 runs per game leads. Our ERA leads, and our fielding is 10th. A little lower than halfway. So we're below average. I will say, in the American League, there are multiple teams that have over 5. But our goal was 4. So that would put us right around the midpoint, and we're well above that. So let's look at some numbers from players individually. And we'll show players that are no longer on the team. Let's take those first. Michael Young has not appeared, and neither has Drew Butera. That will happen later in the season. Luis Cruz just left us. He got 129 at-bats out of a possible 130. His batting average was slightly above what it was really, but that wasn't why he was on this team. He was excellent at fielding. And if we look at third base, he gained us 2 runs saved, and at shortstop the same. And he made 1 error. So parlayed over a season, that would have been 16. But excellent job defensively, although he's gone. I believe he's a member of the Yankees now. So we can't use him to help back up our left side of the infield. Ramon Hernandez played a part for a short while behind the plate before Tim Fedorovich took over. He did hit left-handers well, 286, average 308 on base, a slug of 600, an OPS of 908. That will be missed. Fedorovich has done better against lefties, but I doubt he'll ever hit for those kind of numbers. Fielding, he wasn't great. He was okay, saved 1 run. 40% steal off of him. Okay. So those guys are finished. So let's go through the lineup. First, let's start with A.J. Ellis. That is our starting catcher. He's played 58 games. He's below average in hitting and on base and slug and OPS. So he has been a disappointment hitting-wise. However, he is our best fielding catcher. Only one person has been successful stealing against him in 8 attempts. And he saved us 4 runs that way. He has given up 3 passed balls, which is on average. Only 1 error thus far, but he has played less. He should end up, I mean, this is right around where he should be in terms of games, but at bats, very low. He's actually one of the few players that I could play a little bit more in the second half, and it'd be okay. We've relied on certain players really above where they should be in terms of games, at bats, so on. He does have that 9 arm that has helped him a lot. That's our starting catcher. Our backup catcher is Tim Fedorovich. Take a look at his numbers. He has not hit for his normal average, below. Slug's a little higher, but OPS is lower. He's really done the job from the left side, however, not as good as Ramon Hernandez. And he's worse fielding. He doesn't show any runs saved. He has given up 5 stolen bases in 7 attempts, which is not good at all. It hasn't hurt us too bad, although he has given up 2 passed balls already. So that is a weakness there. So, I mean, from the catching position in total, I would say we've been below what had really happened in the 2013 season. Where we are above is at first base, and that's mainly the territory of James Loney. He has been awesome. He has hit for 43 points higher than what he did in the real season. His on base is above, his slug is above, his OPS is 889. And he's done it from both sides of the plate. That was what I thought would be a weakness, would be the left side, but he has not shown that at all. He's been outstanding hitting. Take a look at his fielding. It's been pretty good. He's saved 3 runs. 4 errors, is about on pace. He's just slightly ahead of that in terms of how many errors for the season. He has been the linchpin, one of the linchpins of this offense by getting on base and getting other people up to bat more often. Somebody who also plays first base for us at times is Scott Van Slyke. He is right on where he was for the regular season. Now remember, one of the changes that I made when I decided to do this season was I needed players to fill in gaps for all the trades that I had made and the players I had lost. And one of them is, if you played minor league, those at-bats are added to your target at-bats. So you can play more than you normally did because you might be on the roster more than you really were in the 2013 season. So he's available the rest of the season. He had been out for a little while, a little over 2 weeks. So this is about, these numbers should be right on what he did in the regular season. And as you look at it, I mean, there's very little difference. 3 at-bat difference, 3 plate appearance difference, 2 at-bat difference, 1 hit difference, 1 double, the same number of homers, but his runs have, because the offense has been better, lineup has been better. His RBI is 1 more than he did normally, 2 more walks, 8 fewer strikeouts. So he's done great. His average is slightly lower, on base is slightly higher, slugging is slightly less, and his OPS is almost perfect, almost exactly the same. He is primarily somebody to hit off the bench versus left-handers, or in case, I can't see James Loney not playing against a left-hander now. That was something I walked into the season thinking was possible, but I don't now. Fielding-wise, at first base, he's been great. In left field, not as great. He does have 2 errors, but that's consistent with how many innings he played in the regular season. As you can see, this game is very on target. I don't know how they do it, how they contort things to make them almost exactly the same, but that is very impressive to me. And he's barely played in right field, very sparingly. So that's first base. Those are the players you will mainly see there. Let's go to second base. And our starter is Mark Ellis. Mark is about on pace. He's probably a little bit ahead of where he would play in the full season. And you see his numbers there. He has 1 less home run, a lot fewer doubles, 9 fewer doubles. His average is a little bit above. I mean, those are pretty on point. His slugging slightly better, and with the on base slightly better, his OPS is slightly better. And these numbers are pretty close. He's doing a little bit better versus right-handers. He is key on the field. With his 10 range, he saved us 7 runs. And that's where he's best. 9 great plays with 0 poor plays. And those are hits taken away from the other team. 4 errors. That's pretty close to the pace. He's played a little bit more than half the season in terms of innings. So, when I think to myself, who am I going to play at second? I'm going to lean on that fact that he could hit, but even if he doesn't, I'm going to get premium defense at second base. The other person who plays second base from time to time is Skip Schumacher, and he has hit much better. He's again about halfway. He's a little bit more than halfway. He's got 3 home runs versus 2 in the full season. He's scored fewer, but you got to look at this as there's 155 more plate appearances, and he's got more home runs already. So he's really performing well in terms of offensively. A 280 average versus 263, a 364 on base versus 332, a slugs even higher, 394 versus 332, for an OBS of 758. But his main function is versus right-handers. That's where he's best. All of his power is there, even though on the ratings he's even in terms of power, both for from versus lefties or righties. Where he's helped out a lot is he's a great pinch hitter for us. He's hitting 389 off the bench, on base of 421, a slug of 444. If you watched the last video of game 81, you saw him drive in the winning run with the base hit in extra innings. Fielding, primarily playing second base, he's a -1. So, I mean, there's the difference. He's not only average, he's a little below average. Although he has made 4 great plays and only 1 poor, and only 1 error. In left field, he's slightly below average also. In 128 innings, he has 0 errors. So the way that I would play this team in the playoffs would be with him on the bench ready to hit. That'll take us to shortstop. D. Gordon is our starter. D has played more than he did in the regular season already. Almost double more. Double more? He's played almost double the number of games that he did in the regular season. He has double the plate appearances. He has double the at-bats. Well, almost. Anyhow, so you've got to take that with a grain of salt. He's also stolen double the bases he did in the regular season at almost the same stolen base percentage. He's at 80.6. He's our speed guy. He's our bunter that can get on base sometimes. He's hitting 247 after a great start. His on base is lower. His slug is slightly higher. He does have 3 home runs, excuse me, and he only had 1 in the regular season. So he's slightly better versus lefties. You're not going to see a lot of power out of this guy. He's not very clutch. He usually gets replaced defensively for as good as, oh, one thing that we have to go back and look at, bunt singles, 17. So that's impressive. Fielding wise, he is a nightmare in the outfield to know when to pull him. He has 17 errors. So he's a little over double the number he played in the regular season. And he is more than double the errors committed. Although he does have 14 great plays and 10 poor, he's only lost -2. He's actually better at second base, although this is a small sample size. The key to him is getting him off the field, whereas we would put in Luis Cruz, but we don't have him anymore. So our backup there is Justin Sellers at short. He is outperformed hitting-wise. He's played in almost the same number of games. He's 19 fewer at-bats, but he has more hits than he did in the regular season, so he's done very well there. He's got a 280 average right now. Again, limited at-bats. Some of these numbers are not going to matter. He's going to get a lot more playing time now that Luis Cruz is gone, even though he only has a 5 rating in terms of range. You look at these stats, he's pretty much an average infielder. He's actually outperforming his fielding percentage right now, although he has had 5 poor plays to 2 great. So, shortstop's not going to get solved this season because those are my 2 guys. Another person who has not performed up to what I thought he would be is our starting third baseman, Juan Uribe. Juan has played over half of where he should be, but he's pretty close. He's a little bit above that. He'll get 427. We will use every single one of those at-bats before he is done. Because for as bad as he is, he's still the best we got. He's a 255 average is below slugging, below OPS. I mean, he's good against right-handers, it looks like, due to the stats. But, man, he'll go on streaks where he won't hit anything for a long period of time, and that makes it hard. Although he's been hitting better in June, so we'll see how that continues. His power is, I mean, he only hit 12 home runs. I can't expect that much out of him. Fielding is where he's premium. He has a 9 range, and he has played great. He's helped our pitchers out. There you see 4 errors in 455 innings, 11 great plays versus 1 poor. He saved us 10 runs this season. So, if you look at it defensively, has he overperformed? Yes. Offensively, he has not. He's underperformed. Who's backing him up at third? Right now, Jerry Hairston Jr., the guy I was afraid of. And here's why. His fielding at third base, ouch, in 8.87. And right now he's performing at an 8.89 in only 35 innings of play. He only has 1 error, but in only 4 putouts, 4 assists. So he hasn't had that many opportunities. That's just horrid. And the problem is, without Luis Cruz to back him up, Hairston's going to be playing a lot more third base. Now, I love him in left field. He's fine there. He's a 5 range. He has a 3 arm. He has a great percentage, 1,000 fielding percentage, 0 errors. Overall, though, this number is going to raise in the second half with him playing more innings at third base. If I could cut one player off of this team, it would probably be him. I can't send him to the minors. He's almost at the end of his career at 37. Although he has been a pleasant surprise in terms of hitting. Again, limited sample size because we don't want to play him. He has 11 hits and 32 at-bats versus right-handers. These are just astronomical numbers. They're better than the starter, by far. But how much longer are they really going to last? He got 5 RBI in one game. So, but that's where he's at. He also plays left field, as I mentioned. All right, let's start off in left field, and I would think the starter there as we go towards the playoffs down the stretch will be Andre Ethier, especially against right-handed pitching where he's been excellent, even though his numbers average-wise, they're pretty close. We'd have to say that. I mean, home run-wise, he's shown off some power here. The 7 rating has helped. He has more walks than he does strikeouts. That's impressive. This is a guy who struck out 95 times in the regular season and only walked 61. He's right now at 31 and 34 for those numbers, so he has definitely made more contact. He's just pitiful against left-handers. We can't use him there. And he is not a good pinch hitter. So, and fielding-wise, I gave him a bad rap in one of the previous games where I pulled him. He's not good in center field. I mean, he can play in center field if we have an injury, but he's primarily a left fielder, and he is below average. He's a -1, but that's not terrible for 252 innings to only have 1 error. Andre Ethier he had a very slow start to the season, but he's warmed up very well, especially in the month of June with 4 home runs. We talked about Scott Van Slyke. He can play left field. Skip Schumacher can play left field. We're going to touch on Matt Kemp. He's primarily a backup or a versus left-handed hitter, a left-handed pitcher, excuse me. He does very well, as you can see here by these numbers, including an OPS of 835. Overall, he's just not as good against right-handers. He's not an excellent fielder either. The reason I'm not going to touch on him that much, look at this fielding percentage of .955 with 3 errors in 204 innings, is because he's not going to be available to us that much, especially when you get to the playoffs. July 8th is in a week. He'll be gone. He'll be back for 4 days, or 3 days probably, and then he'll be gone till the middle of September. So we can't count on him to do much. He won't be available for the playoffs, so again, that's why I don't put too much stock in him. He started off really great in April. He slowed down. But he's still a decent left-handed option off the bench. He had a great start to his real career, but it's tapered off, especially this season with the injuries. We go to center field, even though it says right. Shane Victorino is next. He's our starter. He's the big free agent pickup that we re-signed after 2012. We kept him, and he's been excellent. At about half of where he should be, he's already has 14 home runs when in the entire season he had 15. I mean, he's done a great job. He's not scoring a ton of runs or RBI, but he has a knack for getting big hits. It looks like the pace of his strikeouts is a little bit lower than what he did in the regular season. His average has improved by 12 points. His on base is about the same, a little bit above. His slugging is 99 points higher, and therefore his OPS is about 100 points higher. He's done these numbers are very good versus left-handers, and these numbers against right-handers are not as good, but they're still above average, well above average, especially for a premium fielding position like center field. Speaking of that, he's an excellent excellent fielder. I could put him at any of these positions and I would be ahead of the game. He has 0 errors on the season completely in this replay. He has 11 great plays. He has 0 points. I don't know how many games he's bailed me out towards the end of the game. He hasn't robbed a home run yet. Still no number here. But I mean, he's made great diving catches on the track in big situations. He's really helped our pitchers out. 4 runs saved in center field is just primo, excellent, worth every penny. If he only hit two, if he was half the hitter that he was, he'd still be worth what we pay him. Andre Ethier is kind of our backup center fielder. Looking through this list, I don't see anybody else. So we're going to go to our key player of the season. He's been everything that I expected him to be and more. He's probably the one player who, if the real Dodgers had brought him up from day one of the season, they would have never fallen below 500, and they would have probably won best record in the league, and that's Yasiel Puig. Yasiel has, at this point, he would have, in the real season, he'd only have played about, 28, 29 games. And for us, he's played 74, and you can just see the numbers. You don't even need to really pay attention to the real ones. He has hit 337, an on base of 418, a slug of 592, an OPS total of 1.010. Especially against left-handers, look at these numbers, and you cannot say this is a small sample size. 94 at-bats, 39 hits, 6 doubles, a triple, 11 home runs. He's not a home run hitter, but this rating sure helps. 23 RBI versus left-handers, 14 walks, 13 strikeouts. Yasiel Puig, the real player, struck out a lot. And here he has more walks than strikeouts. An average of 415 and on base of 495. That's almost half of the time that he's up versus a left-hander, he gets on base. You think that's an obnoxious number? Look at slugging. An 851 for an OPS of 1.346. That is MVP level play. He won't win the NL MVP, and that's probably because he's only excellent versus right-handers, including a 295 average, an on-base of 376, a slug of 451, an OPS of 827, which is still well above average. Then look at in June, for a full month, he hit 8 home runs. He batted 396 for a month, and that's almost 100 at bats. That's crazy good. That's got to be, he has to be in the top 3 for MVP. And then we go to right field, where he has his cannon, a 9 arm, where he threw out a player in extra innings to preserve an opportunity to win the game in our last game, game 81. Look it up. But look at his defense. Impeccable. 2 errors in almost 600 innings. 5 great plays, 2 poor. He saved 3 runs during the season. I don't know how many players will not run on him and try for third because of his arm, which saves us from getting in situations where there's 1 out and a runner at third, which is much different than 1 out and a runner at second. So, and these are not astronomically wild numbers versus what he really did in the regular season. Maybe the slug is. That's ridiculous. But these are pretty on-target numbers. He's actually below average in batting average versus right-handers. So you can't say, oh, the game's just crazy. No, it's pretty much right on there, and this is why we play this game instead of another one. Just going down the list to make sure I didn't miss anybody. I don't believe so. Let's go to pitchers. This will be easy. Clayton Kershaw, our #1 starter, 13-1. The only loss was the first game of the season. He's pitched about half. He's probably a little bit over in terms of innings. That's just because he's been so good. This was a mistake. I started somebody, Matt McGill, on accident, and he pitched to one batter because he had to. So this should be 17. So he's a little bit above half. But look at this. He already has his 3 complete games. He already has 2 shutouts like he did in the regular season. He's about the same in hits. Earned runs are right on target. He's given up a lot of doubles. I noticed this. Only 30 in the regular season, 23. So if there's a flaw, it's there. He's given up 7 home runs versus 11. Now, a lot of these things are right on the money or close by it. His hits per 9 are lower. His walks per 9 are lower, and so are his strikeouts. They're not. His WHIP is 0.846. I mean, for the month of June, he had an ERA of 0.92. Ridiculously good. Just to show you, they played 17 games. He's pitched in 17 games. The Dodgers have won 16 of the 17 games. That is immaculate. I don't know that things can get better than that. Again, the only loss, the first game of the season. Second starter, believe it or not, is not Zach Greinke, who I love, but who has not performed. This guy has, Hyun-Jin Ryu, 11-3. His ERA has dropped from 3 to 2.08. He's a little bit over half. He's got a complete game, no shutout yet. His numbers are lower than what they would be doubled up. His hits per 9 are almost a run lower. Walks are lower. Strikeouts are lower. WHIP is a 1.080 for 108 and 1/3 innings pitched. That's excellent. No complaints. Look at this performance in June. 5 games. He was 3-2 with an ERA of 0.53. That just shows you run support, even though it says 6.48 here, is not always every single time there for this pitcher. But he has been there almost every single outing for the Dodgers. He's had a few stinkers. Here's one against Anaheim that the Dodgers pulled out. He gave up 5. He gave up 5 in 5 innings against Milwaukee. But for the most part, excellent pitching. No complaints here. He's our #2 starter until proven otherwise. Zach Greinke is our third of the big 3 after missing a month. His numbers are not consistent. He's actually underperformed. His ERA is too high. He's not at about halfway yet. So his numbers are not just double and show. That home run number is too high. His hits per 9 is lower. His home runs per 9 is slightly a tick high. His walks are too high. His strikeouts are lower. But the WHIP is 1.042. Zach's telling me he wants me to show off his hitting. Yes, he can do that very well. 387 average. An OPS of 952. He doesn't have a home run. Okay, so those are our 3 starters. Before Nate Eovaldi came along, Chris Capuano had the 4th spot, and he probably will have the 5th spot in the second half of the season as I try to keep things as close to the realistic numbers or starts in the regular season. Chris has pitched about half. His ERA is 3/4 of a run lower. He's 1-5-2. He's had great run support, 7. I mean, nothing to crow about there. No disagreement there. Hits way down. Earned runs, not as great. Doubles, that's way too high. But look at this. Hits per 9 from 10.6 to 7.5. Walks are up, but some of those are intentional by me. Whips down from 1.4 to 1.2. And look at this. Opponent's average 295 hit against him, only 223. I'm looking at him and I'm looking at this the numbers versus left-handed hitters. In 71 at bats, only 9 hits, 2 doubles, and an average of 127. And I'm thinking perhaps in the playoffs he would be a good left-handed bullpen. He has a plus in relief, so that's something to think about for the playoffs. Stephen Fife. Oh, we don't want to miss Matt McGill. He started for us quite a bit. There you see his numbers with an ERA of 4.83. He somehow won 3 and lost 0. Or 6.37 run support helps. There you see his numbers. Matt is a long relief man, and that's about it. Stephen Fife is another possible. He can start. He can relieve. I don't know about the playoffs. We'll see. Looking at his numbers here versus lefties, he gets bombed on. That's an 810 OPS. That's not good. Slightly better against right, including a 170 average. He has a starter ERA of 2.87, a relief ERA of 1.17, which is great. He's helped out as a swingman. Possibility for the playoffs. There are some players that will be coming to this team. Ted Lilly, the late Ted Lilly, his career died, was awesome for us. As you see here in the first half, a 5.09 ERA. We somehow got it down to 0.36. He only gave up 1 earned run in 25 innings somehow. He pitched great. He got injured. He's done for the season. Nathan Eovaldi is our new 4th starter. Maybe we'll be able to change it to the big 4 instead of the big 3. He's been excellent. That's an understatement. He's been incredible. He's 2-0 with no ERA. In 22 2/3 innings pitched, he takes Ted Lilly's 2 earned runs and spits on it as he's given up 0. He doesn't strike out a ton of players, so we have to have a good defense behind him. But look at these differences. Hits per 9, 8.5, down to 3.2. He hasn't given up a home run, obviously. His walks are down from 3.4 per 9 to 2. His strikeouts are a little bit lower. So that's the trick. His whip is 0.57 to 4. The average against goes from 249 to 111. These are just crazy. This, again, is a small sample size. I don't expect this from him. For the season, after coming back from injury, he had a 3.39 ERA, which I'd be happy with. But, I mean, overjoyed with 0. Again, through 3 starts. He's the main reason we don't have Hanley Ramirez on this team, who would fit perfectly at shortstop. But we'd rather have the pitcher. Billingsley was horrible in his 2 starts for us in the first half. He's injured. He won't be coming back. And we wish him well in his further pursuits. That's about all I can say about that. Peter Moylan. Let's see if he's actually below. Yeah, he's actually below his real ERA. And that's about all I can say. I mean, look at this. His average against is only 188. I guess this is a lot of walks. Yeah, 7 walks. 0 strikeouts. He'll be up if we have to have somebody just to throw some innings. Matt Guerrero has left the team. He's going to be with the Cubs, as you can see in the picture, or he is already with the Cubs. He was a meaningful arm. 0-2, 3.55 ERA versus a 4.80 in about the same innings pitched. He had 5 fewer hits given up, 4 fewer runs, 3 earned fewer, 1 less double, 1 less triple, same number of home runs, but more walks, but 5 more strikeouts. His hits per 9 went down 2.2. His walks went up, but his strikeouts did too. And his average went from a 283 to a 220. Now, some of that's defense, but some of that's being used in the right areas. So, We wish him the best. He didn't get much run support when he pitched, but he did start a game. I guess that was a bullpen game that I don't remember. Maybe he gets some more. Chris Withrow's had a roller coaster ride with us. He started out great in April, 5 innings, an ERA of 1.80, and then it got worse. And then in June, it just exploded. A 10.13 ERA. I can't trust him. So, again, he may come up just as a extra arm, but he won't be appearing on the roster in the playoffs. Paco Rodriguez. Now we start talking about people that I trust and will use in the playoffs coming out of the bullpen. Even though he's underperformed a 2.91 ERA versus a 2.32, he's at about half. He's a little above half in innings pitched. He's below half there. He's way too high in runs. He had a bad game against the Braves. I think he had to get used. Sometimes you just have to wear it as a pitcher. Yep. In this 14-5 game, he gave up 4 runs. I think that's the Freddie Freeman Grand Slam. But if you look closely, there's a lot of zeros in these ER in the earned run category. He just had a really bad stretch there between the Braves against Arizona and San Diego. And this is true of a relief pitcher. You don't always throw for very long. So if you give up multiple runs, it's going to crush your ERA. He's excellent against lefties, and that's primarily. But he does. This is not bad. This is excellent against righties, too. He's an all-purpose guy. He just had a bad June. We'll see if that continues or not. His whip's .647 versus 902. His Ks are up a whole strikeout. His walks are down 1. Just got to watch out for the long ball. He's given up 4 home runs. Kind of the same problem Kenley has, but I will be happy to use him in the playoffs. Jose Dominguez, limited action. He'll be leaving us soon, July 22nd. I don't know if he'll get back up to the big club by then. Nothing to talk about there. He did pitch in 1 inning, and he didn't get the save, but he helped close a game. I think he finished a game. Yeah. Somehow I'm missing that. I don't want to search for it, so nothing much to talk about there with Jose. Sean Tolleson, I think he walked a couple people. He had 2 walks in 1 game. That's it for him. We'll see him next season. He'll be an important part of our bullpen next season, but that's it for this year. Kenley is our fireman / closer. What can you say? He's already got the same number of wins. He has 2 less losses. His ERA went from a 1.88 to a 0.68. He's already pitched over half of where I can use him, and that's the problem. Going down the stretch is we're not going to be able to use him as much. Maybe just for a batter here and there. At least until we get some reinforcements from the bullpen that I can trust. He doesn't have as many saves, and he won't because he's not used exclusively in the 9th. He has given up too many home runs, but his walks versus strikeouts is just incredible. 6 walks to 73 strikeouts. Hits are down from 5.6 to 3.9. Walks are down from 2.1 to 1.0. Strikeouts, though, are down from 13 to 12.4. Aw, horrible. Whip goes from a .861 to a .547. Average goes from a 1.77 to a 1.24. 0.124, excuse me. Just these outstanding numbers. There's no point in saying every single one of them. Again, the bugaboo is this home run number here. He can get tagged. And many times he comes in, it's a slim lead. He's blown 4 saves. He has 11 holds. He's my best pitcher out of the bullpen. Okay, talking about some reinforcements. They're coming later in the season. Edison Volquez will be, I think, the first. No, Carlos Marmol will be the first later in July. Edison Volquez will come towards the very end of the season, as will Brian Wilson. He'll take some of the uh, pressure off of Kinley. He won't have to play as much as that fireman role. Brian can take that spot because I think I'm going to trust him. Looking at his stats, you never know about these guys, though, how they're going to really perform. But in the 2013 season, you see this number right here, a .66 ERA with 13 strikeouts and 13 and 2/3 innings pitched. So I'm looking forward to that, but we don't get him until the end of July. So we still got a month. And we got to scale back on how often we use Kinley. I'm using him for 4 or 5 out saves. And that's got to just stop. We talked about Volquez. We just talked about Wilson. We talked about Marmol. Javi Guerra has been a pleasant surprise. He's outperformed from a 6.75 ERA to a 2.91. His hits are better, 21 and 21 and 2/3 innings pitched. I mean, he's an arm. He's better against right-handers. He's not going to make our playoff roster, but he could see some more meaningful at-bats to face in this month of July before the reinforcements come. We scroll down. Ronald Belisario is right now probably the #1 relief pitcher that I use regularly that could be replaced. Even though he's performing better, he's 3-0, he's 341 versus 397. He's outperformed that. He's just not trustworthy. He's given up 32 hits and 31 and 2/3 innings pitched. He's not been terrible. He's just not as good as the other guys. Look at this K. He's down below 5.1 versus 6.5, and his whip's almost right on there, even though his average is a little bit lower. He just, I can't explain it other than a feeling that I do not trust him in clutch situations to make the play. He could be replaced on the playoff roster based on what I've seen thus far. J.P. Howell is the other left-hander that I would say is going to get more opportunities in the second half because I do trust him and he has been excellent. The ERA has dropped from 2.03 to 1.17. He has 4 saves. He's given up 7 hits in 23 innings pitched, 12 walks, 28 strikeouts. Hits per 9 is down to 2.7. And strikeouts are up to 11. His whip's .826. His average against is .097, almost a whole 100th of a point lower. And it was already 1.193 in the regular season. He's excellent against lefties. 33 at-bats versus him. 1 hit. 3 walks, 15 strikeouts, a batting average of .030. And he's no slouch against righties. A 154 average on base of 313, a slug of 231. He's just not giving up anything except singles. He's given up 6 hits and 39 at-bats, 1 home run. So the other 5 hits are singles. He's only given up 7 hits on the season. Just excellent pitching. The whole month of June he had a 0 ERA in 8 1/3 innings pitched. 4 out of 5 from the saves department. Inherited runners, 1 out of 25 for a 4%. He's the best. And I don't have a stat here to show it, but I can't tell you how many times I brought him in and he's produced a ground ball double play. Now, some of that's on the defense to be able to do that, but it's also on him to produce the ground ball. That's playable. The only other pitcher we've used is Skip Schumacher. He's in a game that's a blowout. And we look at his pitching, and he continues the blowout. We've had to use him more than the regular season, but saves the wear and tear on the other pitchers. So that's where we're at. one half of the way through the season. We're halfway gone, and it's been an excellent ride. 59 wins and 22 losses. Every division leader has 50 wins. So, looking at the playoffs, we're going to do 4 teams from each league. So, as of right now, and I don't think this will change, Atlanta will win the East. St. Louis will win the Central. The Dodgers will win the West. And as of right now, Cincinnati would be the wild card. In the American League, Tampa Bay would win the East. In the Central, Detroit would win. And one of these 2 teams, Oakland or Texas, will win. And the wild card would be between Boston and the loser of the American League West. That's how far Boston has lost their way. But this video was talking about halfway through from a Dodger perspective. The next video, we'll take a look at the league. So thank you for watching. We'll see you next time on Missed It by How Much.